Welcome to Effortless Being, where it takes no effort just to be. We're having our Effortless Being panel call, and we have several guests on the line today. Welcome, everyone.
Hey, Rob. Hey.
Hello, from all over the world. So I thought the way I start off is I start off with an introduction, and then we'll just go around, and everybody can speak to whatever is arising. Maybe something resonates with what I say, or there's something that you just want to express. We just let Effortless Being or Infinite Intelligence do its thing, and just see what arises effortlessly with ease. There's nothing to fix or a certain way things have to be or an outcome or anything like that. It's just whatever wants to arise because everything's just perfect the way it is. So I would just start off by talking about effortless being. And, whenever I start off my call, I say effortless being where it takes no effort just to be. And that's just like a pointer for everybody to just look in their direct experience to see what this is that we're talking about. People talk about self-realization, your true nature, but what is this in your direct experience, this beingness? And it's really the simplicity of the beingness that we're pointing to with people when we're talking about self-realization. And in my direct experience, that's what I've seen is that there's this effortless being that all of us have access to. This is this one beingness. It's just this natural state of awareness before like the efforting comes in and the striving and the identity with the separate self. It's just always there in the background, this beautiful, impersonal beingness. And when you question this beingness, it's just this open space of presence that's here. And then it's before like the mind comes up with the thoughts and the identity and all of that. And so it's just a simple recognition of what that is in your direct experience, this effortless being that's always here in the background that can be seen when you just kind of just pause the thoughts and just kind of just look in your own direct experience. And once you have that recognition and you come to see that self-realization, it's not an experience. It's not like a practice you have to do. And it's not personal either. It's not like Rob's here recognizing the being or being the beingness or anything like that. So just keeping those points in mind when we're talking about it, it's really the simplicity of what it is. Sometimes we overcomplicate it and things like that. So I just like to start off simply and just tell people it's accessible to everyone. There's no hierarchy. There's no message that one person has. That we all have this intuitively. Our intuition knows what this is already. Because even if you've questioned the beingness, like just in your direct experience, if you say, this beingness that's here, and you just ask yourself, this beingness, this sense of aliveness that we're talking about, that everybody knows what that is, can you stop being now? Like you can't, right? It's just what you are. That's what we're pointing to, the simplicity of that. And then this beingness, can it get sick? Can it die? Does it have a problem? Is it worried about money? Is it worried about relationships? See, it's impersonal. So those things aren't affected by it. So anything that's happening, it's not affected by it. It's stainless awareness, it's timeless awareness. Whatever's in the appearance is just another part of awareness. Everything is awareness. There's no separation. It's whole and it's complete and it's not broken, doesn't need to be fixed. It's already perfect. It's already is. It's already the case. It's what's already here. It's pristine, infinite being is what we all are. And we are having the human experience. And that's okay too. So everything is welcome in this space of beingness. So anything that we say is everything is welcome in awareness, because everything is awareness. When we look out, everything is awareness itself. You know, it's just in disguise sometimes, with the mind when it comes in with its thoughts. But that's kind of like what effortless being is, and that's what I kind of see in my direct experience. So as we go around, you can just, if something resonates there or something else you want to bring up, that's fine too. So I thought what we do is we start by going with Raymond. Raymond, welcome to the Effortless Being panel.
Thank you, Rob.
This is your first time on the.
Namaste, as we say in Nepal, although I'm not in Nepal and neither am I Nepalese. But my partner is. My partner's from Nepal. So I actually resonate with what's happening. So what happened there? We had some muting, echo chamber, disconnection, realities in our experience, right? And I totally see from the vantage point that you're mentioning, Rob, when I say I see, I mean seeing is seeing. It's not personal, as you say, there's just pure seeing. But whether we call this an illusion or not, right? You know, whether this is ultimately real, the body of Raymond, the world that's being spun out like a spider's web from some mind or other, even if it's illusory in terms of ultimate reality, it's still an experience. So I'm here looking through this body as if I'm some sort of a like human finger puppet and someone's not got their hand in my bottom, but you understand the analogy.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. That's
And
beautiful.
the fact is that the way that I feel compelled, especially when I'm maybe with strangers or when I'm not with strangers, is that this presence has a purpose. So as much as even now I can feel still and silent, I don't have any loud, energetic thoughts, even about what you guys might be thinking. So that came as a thought there. Tell them that you're not bothered about what they're thinking. I'm not thinking about what you're thinking. I'm not even focused in my attention into what I'm thinking. So everything that I'm saying, even as you're saying it, Rob, is like someone who's learned to play the piano, but I don't need music to play the piano anymore. So I sense this as that creative place that people write songs and poems and new things come from. So I'm not speaking to you now, trying to give you some old information that I've read in a book. I'm speaking to you as authentically as I can without trying to show my light to anyone. I've got no purpose in that, especially amongst a group of people that I'm assuming to some level already know that they are this light. This love and this light for me, love wants an object to love. That's my experience of love. When I feel real love and real compassion, I want to express it. I want to reach out and touch another with that love. That's the nature of it for me. It's not, that's what I'm saying. Yes, I can bliss out and just lie back and fall in love. I can fall in love. I can, with my attention, I can just fall back into love. But if I really want to do that permanently, then I'll just die. But I don't want to do it permanently. That's why I'm here, alive. And the very aliveness itself, without a single thought ever now, the notification, the notice of that aliveness lets me know that I'm not what precedes that aliveness. So there's aliveness, then there's body, then there's mind and emotions. And the mind, as in thoughts or emotions, they come differently. But I also experience, that's what I'm saying. So in my experience, sometimes the voices that I'll just call thoughts, which may be conditioned by relational voices that I've heard throughout my life, whether it's as a child or whether it's as a family member or whether it's as a husband or a father myself. I've got 4 children of my own. Those thoughts and emotions for me are all just energy now, right? That it's all just energy, but sometimes I feel that that energy's more of a pressing down energy, but I still sit on the inside, like as if I'm in a submarine and I can pop the periscope up and I can look above the surface of the water like that. But now I have a conscious choice that even if this up here that people normally struggle with in society, all the fear-filled, I'm not good enough, whatever it might be, there is a clear seeing of that now.
Mm.
So I know it's not me, but the purpose of me clearly seeing is not just so that I can feel great about myself, although that's an added advantage. The purpose of me seeing clearly is, and to see that suffering in my own experience, because it is suffering in some sense at times, and I accept that fully. And even when it's personal to me, I love my own memories of self like they were little children. Just like Thich Nhat Hanh says, you know, love all of these aspects of yourself. So I simply experience a constant sense of loving myself and everything that appears, no judgment. And that automatically makes me want to love other people. And I can see at times their suffering. And just in the same way that I've been pulled into a safe space where I don't suffer the same as a human, that's my ultimately desire for every other human being, that
That's
they also
beautiful.
don't suffer.
That's beautiful, Raymond. I can really feel your love and your expression and your compassion. I want to go to you first because I know that you, as you just said, you wanted to be able to express it. But I could really feel that. I'm sure everybody here on the call can feel that he really like has this burning inside. He really wants to express it. And I just love how you express. I could really feel your love and compassion coming through. And I really feel like a lot of people, even when our call that we had last time, are resonating with you. So it's just such a beautiful expression. So let's go around. We have some other people here on the call. Let's continue on. We have Brian Tom O'Connor. Hello, Brian. How are you?
Great, Rob. How you doing?
I'm so glad you joined again. And by the way, I downloaded, I got your book on Audible. I know I sent you the email, Awareness Games. It's very good. Your voice is very good on there, very clear. I'm really enjoying the book. Maybe just say something about the book, you know, that you can tell us. I mean, how you did that book was great with the voice. I tried doing it with my books, but Audible kept they kept rejecting it how I did it. But you
Oh
just tend to
no,
have that natural voice or something. Or
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know, I used to be an actor, so I studied voiceover. And the funny thing is, I spent a lot of time learning how to do voiceover for commercials, how to edit the audio for it, and I hardly got any work in it. And I realized that the whole reason that I learned how to do this was so that I could do a podcast and record my own audio books about non-duality. So it's like you think you have plans, but life has other plans.
I love it. Yeah, tell people about the podcast that you do. I think it's a very interesting. And thank you for having me on that podcast. I thought it was a great podcast that you're doing. Maybe just
Oh,
say something about your podcast.
sure, it's called Awareness Explorers. Sid has been on it as well. And, Jonathan Robinson is my podcast co-host. And he just came across my first book, Awareness Games, as well. And he just reached out to me on his website. He said, "Hey, I read your book. I'm going to be in New York. You want to get together and chat?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." And so we hit it off, and then he said, "Hey, you want to do a Zoom call every week and just talk?" And we said, "Yeah, sure." So we did that. And then he said, "Hey, you want to record these Zoom calls and make a podcast out of them?" I said, "I have no idea how to do that, but let's do it." And so we pick a particular topic related to non-dual spirituality or self-inquiry, and we talk about it. And then we started inviting guests on. Our first guest was Rupert Spira. And so we alternate between Jonathan and me talking and our wonderful guests.
That's beautiful. Is there any gold nuggets you just want to share with us, real quick? Maybe just something on one of those interviews that you had that really stuck out to you that may resonate, with effortless being or your true
Actually,
nature.
the one that we just published today has been running through my mind. We interviewed a guy named Stephen Zerfas, who has a retreat company called Journey with an H, Journey, because it's based on the Buddhist jhanas. I don't know if any of you know about the 8 jhanas, but these are states in Buddhism, and he runs these retreats to help people get into these states of well-being. And I asked him about effortlessness, because effortlessness is a theme, I think, of a lot of non-dual spirituality.
Yeah.
But I asked him if his process negates that, because in effortlessness, my idea of it is to drop all of our strategies to change our experience. And so I asked him if he believed in that. And he said, that's a very interesting point. And he made a great distinction I had never thought of. He talked about within the system and outside of the system. And he said, and this resonates with all the problems that we talk when we talk to people involved in radical non-duality. You
Yeah.
say there's nothing to do and no one to do it. And he said that the idea that you're going to drop all your strategies to change your experience from outside the system makes no sense. It's an oxymoron, because isn't that a strategy to drop your strategies?
Yeah.
Isn't the idea to see your true nature, your non-dual nature, isn't that something you want to change in your experience? But he said, but within the system, it's excellent advice, because the feeling of effort that we have to bring effort to bring about something that is not already here is great wisdom. It's a great teaching within the system. So when we drop the feeling, the sense that we have to try really hard to get something that's out there when it's already here, already within us, already allowing, already unconditional love, and it's who we are.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Jensen, we'll go to you. How's things going, Jensen?
They're
South
doing
Korea.
great.
Yeah. Effortless being. What does that say anything to you? Anything come up in your system?
Well, we're usually most focused on the contents or the forms that arises, which includes bodies, minds, thoughts, etc., our emotions. But if you just shift your focus to the background, the silence between the words, the space between everything, things start to get amazing, because you realize you were not the forms that arises in the awareness. You're the formlessness. You're the formless, empty, silent, open space that uh, that allows all forms to emanate through you. So, and then you can laugh at this character called body mind, and you can take it less seriously,
I
and
love that.
then you have access to the causes peace, causes joy, because you're not seeking anything, because you're already what you're seeking. So yeah, that's what's arising.
That's beautiful. You're so clear. I love that. Brian, did you want to say anything about that? I saw you perk up a little bit.
I just love it. I couldn't have said it better.
I know he's very clear, isn't he? He's very clear the way he speaks. Hello. How are you? Montserrat, did I say it right?
Me, yeah.
How are you?
I'm
You're
good.
Mexico City, right? Mexico City.
Yes.
Yes. Just so you guys know, she also had contact with David Bingham, and so did Jensen. That's how I kind of met. We met them through that particular channel, and Bo, who's joining us and Judith as well. I had met them through David Bingham channel. But go ahead, Monty. Anything resonate with you?
Yeah. Raymond talked about life being purposeful, and I do agree completely. You know, life has a purpose and it has a meaning. And it's not something kind of hard to find out, or, oh, what's my purpose? I'm going into crisis because I don't know. It's just the experience of life. It's the purpose of life is to be human and embrace this humanness with all its sides, because it comes with duality, and it comes with fears and love, and it comes with things you're going to enjoy so much and love so much, and things that maybe you don't. And it's okay for both of them to arise and be here. Or it would be better expressed to say that it is okay for you to experience both sides, and love both sides at the end, because the human life comes with challenges and comes with things, as Brian said, things when you want to something to happen, when you want to build a project, when you want to even cook some food, there was nothing there. And then you got the inspiration, like, oh, I'm going to cook something.
Mhm.
And within that inspiration, the effortless unfolds, you know, like it takes no effort at all for being
Yeah.
to be aware of something, because beingness is aware. It can be aware of itself or aware of form, or something. And when you realize that there's really no effort, you know something happens, and then there's no effort in thoughts arising, there's no effort in feelings arising, there's no even effort in if judgment comes up. It's effortlessly arising, and we are all effortlessly being aware of that experience and the movement and the shifts that happen.
Mhm.
But as Jensen said, for you to be aware of movement, there must be something that is still and calm and peaceful and quiet. And within that space of stillness, then things move. But it is you being both parts of the thing. You are the stillness and you are the movement at the same time. And as I said in one of our talks, to be in alignment with beingness, at first it will take some effort, because it has to be a conscious decision that you take in each moment, in each now, to stop some habits. Like, oh, I'm going to be open to feel anger, for example, and allow yourself to feel it and be one with the anger, and maybe love it. Why not? Maybe anger is here because, yes, you consented to anger, but it's here to show you something.
Mm.
It's here for you to maybe do something about something that you think, oh, that's so unfair. Like I want to make this world a better place for myself and for others. And then if I feel this anger, I can speak up and I can make this world a better place. Or maybe, I don't know.
It's
you
beautiful how
know?
you express, yes, that effortless being that you talk about, that beingness that's all here, and we're welcoming everything that arises in this space of beingness, because it's all effortless being anyway. And like you said, it could be a message, and some people talk about spiritual bypassing, or how do you deal with your emotions and your thoughts, and there's the welcoming, and there's just kind of like the relief in knowing, as the effortless being, that those things kind of resolve themselves. And we can welcome everything. Nothing's off limits. Everything's welcome in this space of beingness. Let me go to Sid
Yeah.
Freedman. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness, Sid. Did you think I was going to forget about you? I went like this just to keep you on edge. But Sid, I was thinking of you because you had emailed me that you were um went to a conference. Maybe share something about that too, like in whatever else you had on your mind.
Brian, I didn't tell Brian because Brian's been one of my big encouragers. I got to present 2 workshops. Everybody, I got to present 2 workshops at the International IFS conference.
Yay.
It was really, really cool. Um,
That's cool.
and I need to say some things.
Oh, let me brace
First,
myself.
Rob, your little intro was pretty amazing.
Oh, thank you.
All
Wasn't
right.
me.
Say
There's
that.
infinite intelligence behind the scenes, orchestrating and doing everything. I take no credit. There's really no Rob here to do it. No.
Yeah, I really
For the
enjoyed
non-duality police out there, there's no person here.
Well, we're going to talk about that, but I really enjoyed that. And I just wrote down some favorite lines from like everybody because this is kind of cool that one, I get to be with Raymond and I'm not the facility. Raymond and I are buddies and it's great to be with him. And then
Yeah, Raymond's awesome.
Brian has been special in my journey. And then it's kind of fun. I've been with Jensen and Montse once before, and then I don't know, like Judith, I'm just meeting for the first time, and Bo-Eun, how did I do? We meeting for the first
Owen.
Bo-Eun meeting for the first time. But anyway, so here's some highlights so far. That like I think that from Rob, from yours, it was like everything is awareness just in disguise.
Yeah.
These are my favorite lines so far. Everything is an awareness just in disguise. Raymond, the like the falling back in love. I just like I could feel that, like my system just falling back in this as this love. But Raymond even beat that for me with like, but it's not like the hands up my bottom. I got the visual. Brian talking about seeing your true nature already here, already here. I mean, we could just those 2 lines already here of
Yeah.
that. And then I just kind of think about how are we all relating together with everybody? How are we all like we got like 8 of us here, and how this is how dance. And then Jensen again, it was like that last part I think that got Brian so much that got me when you said then we have access to our causeless joy and our causeless peace. It's like Shazam. Um, and then I was like with Monset, it was the purpose to be human and to embrace this humanness. Purpose is to be human, to embrace this humanness. So where then Sid comes in here, it's almost like looking at 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 what Rob says about this effortless beingness as we present this. And Monset, like, what if our purpose is to be this human and to embrace this humanness? Because my edge and my enthusiasm right now is like, and this is where it's going to be a little heretical, and I'm just about done. This is where I'm going to be heretical. It's like to know this effortless beingness, this radiant presence, this love as me.
Ooh.
I know we're not allowed to use that word, but as me. This
There's no me here. Come on, I got the non-duality police. They're on the phone right
me,
now. They're
me,
blowing up my phone.
me, this 58-year-old Sid. That
There's no
what
Sid
am
here.
I? Nothing but this beingness, this light, this perfection, this that Jensen said, or this causeless peace, causeless joy is what I am, what this hand is. All right, that's the Sid piece. Thank you.
Yeah, we're still having the human experience. Nobody's denying that. And it's beautiful. And when we can take, this background of peace, this beingness that's here, we're still having the human experience. Nobody's denying that. We could take that beingness and actually function from effortless being and bring that in. And that helps, with creativity and all kinds of stuff that we can talk to. So what happened at the conference? Anything?
Oh man, I got in a lot of trouble.
That does not surprise me.
So I did really did get I did a presentation on, they called it self-led social activism and conflict resolution. Like in IFS, self is what you were talking about, this beingness, this pure nature, this fulfillment. How do we deal with differences, conflict, and separation from that place? And so I was leading this, it was like 50 people, and I was like inviting them. In IFS, we have this premise that there are no bad parts, that everything that arises in us is innocent.
Love that.
Okay, but then this is where you get in trouble. And then you like ask people like, who are you having trouble with? Like what's triggering you? Who is the other right now? Who are the bad folks out there? And you know where I'm going. It's like,
yeah, I do.
No bad parts here, that nothing bad here, there's nothing bad there. And like that's when it got interesting.
Oh boy. Hey, you're just speaking truth, however it wants to fall out, it falls out. Thank you, Sid, for that. Let's go to Bo, and then we'll go to Judith. So, Bo, introduce yourself to everyone. I know we had met through David Bingham, and I had just saw you did an interview with Colette, who I'm also friends with, who was also on the David Bingham channel. I really enjoyed that interview you did with her. I think the name of it was going. What was it? Maybe just share a little bit about that interview, what that was about. I think it was more about it went from misidentification to integrating this, or something was like the title of it, or something like that. How misidentifying with the character and then integrating it, self-realization. But yeah, so maybe talk a little bit about that. Maybe just tell people, where you're from. Maybe just a little, whatever comes up.
Okay, cool. Good to see you, Robin. Good to see you, Judith. And nice to meet you with everyone else. I'm meeting everyone else for the first time.
Yay.
I think I've seen Montserrat on David's channel in passing, and maybe Jensen. I'm not sure. But honestly, I don't know if you guys experienced this, but memory gets really shoddy sometimes for me post realization. It's like my memory is not linear. I just feel like it all happened in one big glob. But that excerpt that you saw on Colette Whiteman's channel was just a little blurb, like a little section from her group.
Yeah.
But we are due for a one-on-one thing eventually. But
I found it very interesting, though. It was good.
Yeah, I think I said something about, she just kind of opened up the floor, like, what's coming up for you guys?
Yeah.
And for me, Sid, you cracked me up when you said we're not allowed to use the word me. But for me, for Bo-Eun, for this focused experience, there's this sense of like, it's nothing really matters, And then at the same time, like, because nothing matters, there is intrigue and curiosity about what fear even is, what hesitation might be, anxiety, all the sort of, negative things that we deem as undesirable in experience. So I was asking her, or more like bringing up the topic of, this weird polarity of nothing matters, but then there's also this deep interest to participate in life now in like a fuller, bigger way. And at the same time, it doesn't matter. So there's no pressure, but also there's like this, like, let's just have fun kind of energy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I guess I'm just observing what's evolving for Bo-Eun, but it wasn't always like this. I just feel like it's going through its natural phase of whatever's coming up. But I don't know. And to be honest, I don't know if this is appropriate to share, but I had surgery recently, and sort of unexpected the way it went. It was supposed to be very routine, but then we kind of discovered things that were potentially, things that I have to watch in the future now. So it made me kind of consider like, oh, Bo-Eun's lifetime might be shorter than she thought, So it's making me kind of look at life in a different way. Like, we're here for some time as this experience. And then I don't know, like, but it's just so strange. I always say, whenever I talk to David or anyone else, I'm like, it's so weird being a human. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, I'm watching like the most amazing reality TV show in real life all the time.
It's cool that you could like view it in that light way. It's almost like that fear. I know, like, previous to realizing what we truly are, sometimes we're just like, we just think we're just this body or just our thoughts, and we're just here. We don't realize that, our true nature is the background, but we're still having the human experience, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
feelings are coming up, we're dealing with emotions, we're getting news from a doctor about the bodies, and there still may be some connection with the body,
Yeah.
and because we're still having the experience of it, so we're dealing with it. So, but the fear part, I find, is it's not as intense as it would be if you didn't know the background of what you are. If you only knew that you were just this body and this person, you can see the fear that people out there have when the doctor's telling them something about their physical body, because they're really attached to it. They think that they're only their body. They don't realize, that they're the expansive, spacious beingness, the impersonal beingness that's here. So it does, when you know that, it kind of makes it a little bit, it takes like I don't know, the thrust out of it or the fear out of it. Maybe any of you gentlemen out there, any thoughts on what Bo's saying? Maybe anything resonating that's coming up? Go ahead, Sid. You're muted, Sid. We've got to unmute you.
I'm so sorry. I have a question for you, Bo-Eun, on this line that you said. It just really got me with this. There's a deep interest now to participate in life in a fuller, bigger way. Like, I'm curious about what that pull is, what that's like.
Yeah. Okay. So to me, it's directly connected to the heart, like heart space. And I think I kind of joined halfway through Raymond's talk, but I do think I don't know where it comes from, but to me, it's the most direct connection from awareness. Like, I do think there's this amazing, beautiful energy that kind of stirs the pot to create this reality. And of course, it creates like all sorts of chaos, on the other end of the spectrum. But when you get closer to that silent, just, this thing that we are that you can't like grab at, I do think it speaks to every individual. There's a seed in here, and I always have to just connect to the stillness, and that stillness for me feels like I don't even know if love is the right word, but close to love, But it's just also like, when I first realized that I wasn't Bo-Eun, I realized I spent a lot of my time right before realization obsessing over like, what is this thing called true nature? And like reading all the books from the teachers and listening to all the talks. And then I realized it's the simplest thing to realize. So like, I'm not going to spend any more time talking about that unless people contact me and ask me like, what is it? And they inquire. But otherwise, I'm more interested in participating and seeing how I can now experience being Bo-Eun after the fact, that I realize I'm gonna be okay regardless what happens. I'm gonna survive this.
Yeah, when you come from that space, that knowingness, life becomes a lot lighter, right? It becomes a lot lighter, more playful, more fun when you're integrating it, when you know what your true nature is. Previous, it was so serious because you only thought it was just this, and you were living under the fear and everything. Now life becomes a little more playful because you always have that peace that's always here in the background at all
Yeah.
times. There's nothing serious going on. You can have fun with life, and you can be
But
more playful.
Rob, I have to be honest, there are still tears for Bo-Eun. Like,
Yeah.
I still experience, anger, rage to sadness to tears. But then, like you talked about how maybe there's not fear about the body,
There's still
having
fear,
less
but it's
time.
not as like intense, at least in my direct
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
For me, fear comes up because it's still a habit to like, I want to, this body is like, I want to stay longer. But then there's no reaction to the fear. There's like
No reaction to it. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
but I still feel, all
Feel
sorts
everything.
of
Yeah. I mean,
everything.
it's basically with self-realization. It's just realizing what you are. I mean, still, life is still going on. You still have all the feelings, all the emotions are still here. All of that's welcome. In this space of beingness that you are, for sure.
Yeah, I like to talk about the second arrow. I mean, we have all these emotions, and like Sid said, there's no bad parts when they're all welcome because the awareness that's already here is okay with everything that appears. So that anger, fear, they're human, they come. The second arrow is the idea that they shouldn't be here, and that's
Mhm.
when we suffer.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So everything is welcome.
Yeah.
So beautiful. So good to have you on the call, though. So let's go to Judith. Judith, how are you? You waited so patiently for us, and maybe we should all just mute so we don't get that echo. Let me just pause it for a second.
Hello. This meeting is being recorded. Hello, I can't hear you, Rob. So, okay, I'll just go talk whether you can hear me or not. You can hear me? Okay, good. So I like to see this as, or for me, the explanation I would go with is, first I was just a cup, just say. I was the cup. Now I am not just the cup, but what's outside it as well. So not what's just in the cup, but what is outside as well. That's what I feel I am as well. It's like my human is a focused experience, but I know that I am the silence and the stillness and the peace behind it. But so I can wake up in the morning and feel that there is this silence and peace and stillness. And then I get up and have to go out into a focused experience if I'm doing something, if I'm teaching or creating, painting or whatever, or going out to the market or whatever I'm doing. But there's always this underlying peace and silence. And that's how there's no difference. It's just it just flows. Everything just flows. So it's simply an experience. I like what Bo-Eun said about experience being Bo-Eun. And that to me is how I experience being Judith, is in every moment. I know I am the stillness, but I experience being Judith through my writing or my painting or even cooking or whatever activity goes on. That's how I experience being Judith. So, for example, let's say cooking. Let's take cooking. Everybody does it, but Judith cooks differently to, say, Rob, or so that's the focused experience to me. It's not hugely different to anybody else, but it is unique to this being. It's subtle. And it's also like I noticed when I go out with family or friends or whatever, whoever, how they experience things. I don't necessarily experience it the same way. So, there could be a situation that causes them grief or suffering or whatever instantly. But I actually see it from a wider perspective. So to me, it doesn't sit the same way, let's say. Recently we experienced a bereavement in the family, and I noticed that, yes, I did feel the sadness. Yes, I did feel the loss, but I can also see it from the bigger picture, that there actually is no death. There is simply dropping the physical and moving on to something much greater. That's how I see it. So, in a sense, there's no suffering with it. So, and that applies to basically anything, really. We can either choose to suffer, or we can choose to see it from a different perspective. I mean, there's no joy as such, but there's seeing it more clearly, I guess. And that's pretty much, I guess, through wisdom, I would say, the wisdom body, you experience everything. Now, I don't know who mentioned, was it Raymond, who said falling back into love, back into himself? Okay. Well, I experienced that many years ago, early 2000s. And to me, it just happened out of the blue, just fell back into myself, into the love of self. I didn't die. But in a sense, the personal identity died. And I didn't know that then, but I struggled with it because it was early on. It was before any of this, before anyone was talking about any of this. And so I had no guidance system for it. And suddenly, when everything just falls away, I didn't even know what it was. So, but I knew it was something significant. And that's what I spoke to David Bingham about years ago. And he said, I said, what is this realization? I don't even know what that is. And he said, that's when it really happened. It's like there's no one there to know. So, and I said, yeah, well, I didn't know what that was. What happened? What happened? and so you just go on with life now. You just like Bo-Eun said, it's like just experiencing Bo-Eun. It's just experiencing Jude. It's just life. But with the much bigger understanding of I'm not just this cup. I am everything outside of the cup as well. So you have incredible compassion for everything and everyone. As I noticed with this recent bereavement, I have compassion for everything and everyone. I have no interest in trying to change them. I don't judge them. I don't have any need to change them or to teach them anything or change the world. I have no interest in changing the world. It just is as it is. And it's all part of this beautiful experience. It's just Judith is this focused experience as a human here, but I think everything is just energy. There's just energy. And so you can focus your experience as the energy of joy or creativity or whatever. It's beautiful. It's actually a beautiful way of seeing things very differently to before, no matter what comes up. Okay. I can't
That's
hear anyone.
beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Now, if you could
Now,
mute
if you could
Judith
mute
just for the
Judith just for
sound.
the
Thank you so much, Judith. That was awesome. I love how you express yourself. Anything, anybody want to comment about what Judith said? Anything come up that you wanted to say? Anything arise? I just think it's a beautiful. Judith was very instrumental for me. Like when I first had realized my true nature, David had put us together, and I had talked with her, and she was very because, like she was saying, like sometimes you don't have somebody like you have this realization, but you're not sure what's going on. It was just nice to have somebody to talk to about this, and I thank you for that, Judith. Raymond, you had something.
Yeah, I loved when Judith talked about the psychological death of the ego. And in my own journey, literally, a couple of years ago, I had a full heart attack, ambulance to the hospital type stuff. And and it wasn't that disturbing to me. No, it wasn't. Actually, when the ambulance crew arrived, they put the ECG on me to check my heartbeat. And the guy asked me to stop. I was doing Om. I was going Om. I was doing, because as I was having the heart attack, I completely, within moments of it, I knew I've got no control over this at all. None. It was like drowning without water. It was just like, I've got no control over this. But the experience I had and all of these realizations that we talk about, let's be honest, there are depths to this presence. And we talk about that. Judith talks about it. And of course, I work in the world as well, Judith. I work in the banks. I'm trying to escape it, but not quite yet. So, yeah, that whole sense of there is a process in my experience of, yes, there is an awakening, but that's just like becoming a wee baby again. So yes, there's a death, but there is a resurrection. You die, but then you come back to life. So like you described, Judith, about when you had no guidance, although I have had guidance because we've got all these beautiful teachings around us nowadays, but that sense of being disorientated, that still happened to me because I lost the motivation to live in ways that, and even as realized, so not suicidal, I mean energetically. I had and I still had to do my job, and I got divorced 5 years ago. I came out of a 30-year relationship. So I had that. My realization was progressive, but that was part of that story. But that's all I'm really trying to say, Rob, is that progression of the psychological death, and a bit like the Carl Jung stuff, there are integrations that need to take place. So there are unconscious. We talked about conscious living, but there seems to be pockets of unconscious energy. And what's good in my process now is most of the time it's just an energetic experience. And I think there's something about using words like fear and guilt and shame and blame. These words themselves give it. So if I'm afraid, I've got the same energy of fear, whether someone's chasing me with a knife or whether I'm on a roller coaster having fun. The energetic experience is the same. The story that I'm being told, that's what's different. So in that sense, but we need language. We need words. If I wasn't using words right now, you wouldn't know what I'm experiencing, because I wouldn't be able to tell you and you wouldn't hear. So all of these functions that we say, and I was thinking one last thing, all of the senses, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, you can't see any of the senses.
True.
You can't see seeing. You can't hear hearing. You can't see tasting. You need to experience tasting and seeing and hearing. So again, the emphasis here for me is, yeah, life wants to be lived, but psychologically, we may all come in and out of different filtering states of how we're looking through the kaleidoscope.
Love that. Anything else come up for anybody that something resonates, Sid?
Oh, yes. So, Judith, I loved what, as you shared about compassion for everyone. No need to change them and no need to change the world. It just is as it is. And it felt like you continued with the door that Bo-Eun opened for us about it's like stepping into the amusement park of this living as Bo-Eun, and without there's no seeking left, and there's no need to even speak of this self. It's more the curiosity and the excitement or the aliveness of being this Bo-Eun. And what's this like Raymond saying, seeing, tasting, hearing, what's it like to have this experience of this aliveness? And wow, there's even anger comes up, sadness comes up. And I love where you went with that, Rob. I mean, you guys and Judith, same place. So you said like how I experienced being Judith. I mean, this is you guys are saying it better than this is the edge. This is what's exciting for me, this aliveness. Rob, you have something?
No, I'm enjoying the energy of the alive. And whenever you say aliveness, I'm getting like goosebumps, like aliveness, feeling this, feeling that. Like, I don't know, like, let's go. You're firing me up. Should I put the music on, Sid, and we can see you dance?
It's like that's what I feel like. I love like what's it like to be Bo-Eun, and it makes me think of this movie I love, like Being John Malkovich.
Oh yeah.
I remember they all get excited
Good
about
movie.
being John Malkovich, and like what I'm excited and what I'm getting in you guys is like what's it like to be Sid? Oh my God. And like
My goodness.
Bo-Eun's passion for this is really interesting. The way like the clarity of when I realized I wasn't Bo-Eun, and then whoa, wait a minute, I get to be Bo-Eun. How cool. And to be honest, I love where you went with it, Rob, talking about what it was like. And I'd love to hear more from Bo-Eun about what this adventure is like being Bo-Eun.
Owen.
Well, Sid, it's funny that you asked me a question because I was going to ask you, I forgot, but about IFS. That's internal family systems, right? Okay, because that is an interesting topic to me. It's to me, it's sort of relevant to the integration. I don't know. It's just like that's a concept, right? You're just integrating, I guess, forever after you wake up in a way. But back to your question. What was your question? What's it like to be?
Tell us about the amusement park. Tell us about now once you realize you're not Bo-Eun, and then like there seems like there's a real passion for experiencing being John Malkovich, being Bo-Eun. Like what's it like? What are you finding? What's this like?
Honestly, first of all, there's a sense of like I cannot lie anymore to myself. Whatever that was that I was doing before when I believed I was this person. I used to lie to myself, like would avoid problems or feelings or that nagging voice that was telling you the truth, but you didn't want to face it. So there's no running away from anything. And that's kind of annoying, to be honest, because sometimes you want to just get into some trouble, but then there's this voice that's like, you know better. And you have to face that. And you kind of have to, reconcile that issue or whatever rebellion that you want to embark on. Like, honestly, Bo-Eun has been such a good girl her whole life. So smooth, just a good Korean girl. And like, I think I saw my true nature late 2022, but just this year, there's been this random, I don't know, call it courage or foolishness, but I've just been rebelling like nonstop. And I'm not gonna go into in what way. I'm sure it's pretty vanilla to some other,
Well,
crazy
we're all
people out there.
curious. Go ahead and share the ways now.
Well, maybe that's for another like midnight
Kidding, I'm
series. I'm
kidding.
just kidding. No. But honestly, right now, it's fun to face this. So this is coming back to the heart space. There was always this seed in Bo-Eun to express herself through music, anything creative, but specifically music. And I'm going to go back to first person now, so I stopped sounding crazy, but I used to pursue that when I was in my 20s, kind of ran away from it because I was scared, and there were all these issues with people, and the industry was a little too scary for me. But then when I left and I was really unhappy with my life, that's where I did my spiritual seeking. So it seems to be a really nice sequence that happened that way. But now that I'm aware that through all that drama and the darkness, there was always this me that was always so clear and just watching in this pure neutrality and love, that now I'm really interested, like, okay, how can I now go back to music, one, from a completely different standpoint? So whereas when I was younger, it was about how can I look good, or how can I, receive, I don't know, some sort of attention maybe, even though I wouldn't admit that to myself. But now it's like, how can I just bring more beauty and love to this game? And also, it's not even that serious. Like, if I don't, it's all good. Like, I could just make it fun and I could write funny songs. That's still a win for this experience, I think. There's like this lack of seriousness, but also like this devotion, almost like a dedication, that since I'm here and I had the privilege to wake up while I'm here, let's like, we kind of have I feel like we're like looking into like the coding of a software, it's in a way we're like playing this like blessed game. But back to you, Sid. I'm so surprised that you mentioned IFS, because that's the language that you hear in like the therapy world, and for me, I've actually been interested in that sort of exploration, because back to what I said, there's nothing to resist or deny. So there's an interest for me to turn every stone over, including like the young parts and the 5-year-old Bo-Eun, 13-year-old, whatever. So that's my question to you, Sid.
I'll give a really quick response because I've been talking a lot today, but it's that's one of the reasons I love IFS, because as what like Jensen was discerning and Brian was discerning, it's like the beingness, that the imperturbable self that we're speaking of here. Like once we know this, then IFS is helpful because it allows us to label any sense of contraction or resistance. Even like Bo-Eun, the good girl, I should be a good, whatever's left. It allows us to kind of label it and kind of be aware of it. That's where I find parts really helpful. And then we get to either we can welcome it and just like, oh, enjoy it, welcome that, or even find that it's, ultimately when we look closer, right, we see that it's not separate from this, that it actually is this. It is an expression of the innocence of beauty, just like what Rob was saying, everything is just awareness in disguise. Well, it's self, it's beingness in disguise that we're calling apart. This, you should be a good girl, you should do this, you need to be a good whatever that is. And it's like, then it becomes really fun, right? Then it really is the dance of everything, because we're welcoming everything back home, and it's something like that.
Beautiful.
Love that.
By the way, Bo-Eun, I don't know if you've read the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, but it's just so wonderful. And it's about creativity and about how creativity doesn't necessarily come from the person, but through the person.
Yes, I have read that book. I'm a huge fan of her, by the way, and I read it as soon as it came out. I feel like in 2010 somewhere.
Okay.
And she talks about how genius used to actually now when we think of genius, we think of like I'm a genius, but back then it literally meant like to receive something, right?
Yeah.
From above or somewhere mysterious. But you know, Brian, I don't know why, but you seem very familiar. Like have you been around the non-duality circle somewhere?
Yeah, I have a podcast. You might have seen it in my face because I've interviewed a bunch of people. It's
That's
Awareness Explorers. So you might have seen
yes.
me on that.
Okay.
Brian's famous.
Oh, we have a spiritual celebrity here. I didn't realize.
I
No,
love teasing him.
no,
He's the
no.
humblest guy you ever know.
But the thing is that one thing I did want to say is that a lot of people that I talk to, not the people I interview, but other people in other meetups, they come to non-duality with the idea that they're going to solve the problem of the human, what Paul Hederman calls the action figure. And it seems to me that they're looking in the wrong place. They're trying to figure out how to solve the problems of the human. But it's this big, amazing, mysterious thing that happens when you stop solving the problem of the human and you step back and you know yourself as that awareness in disguise, or what Ram Dass calls God in drag. And you just be that. You realize that that pure awareness loves the human. It loves its creativity. It loves its strengths. It forgives its faults. And so it's totally happy when you go back into music, or the action figure does what it's good at.
Well said.
It's beautiful. Hey, let's go to Jensen. Jensen, what do you got? Anything bubbling up for you?
I got nothing popping up for me, but it's just this meeting is just so high energy. I'm just blissed out all the time, just listening to you guys.
Sid's energy, I'm
amazing.
telling you, it just blisses us all out.
Can I ask you something, Jensen? I was
Yeah,
really
sure.
struck by when you said uncaused joy, because I discovered happiness for no reason, which is practically the same thing. And I was just wondering if you cared to elaborate on it, or how you came to that, or.
Yeah, I think it was my first meeting with David like 2 or 3 years ago. Uh, I had a one-on-one, and I didn't really understand what he was saying, like you're the infinite being, having the human experience, all sorts of stuff. But energetically, there was a shift right away, and I could feel the causeless joy arising just effortlessly. And I was like, wow, this is great. And after that, like when I at that point I was completely immersed in like job applications. And as soon as I like let go of all that thoughts, that causes joy rise effortlessly as well. So then I realized it was my thoughts that clouds the innate peace and joy. And yeah, after that, I could always have access to that peace and joy when I'm alone and just sitting in silence. Yeah.
Yeah,
How
beautiful.
about you?
Yeah, the same. I mean, everything that you said has rung true for me as well.
Just so everybody knows, Jensen just started up a new YouTube channel as well. What's the name of your YouTube channel, Jensen?
I started off as Happiness Within, but I just changed it to Jensen Lee
Jensen
and see
Lee, it's
where it
called?
goes. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, just Jensen Lee. But like, if someone resonates with me, it's good. If someone doesn't, it's all fine. It's all good. So I'm just doing what I'm just feel like doing it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
it's no
expressing, which
pressure.
is great. Yeah, I think it's great. I really enjoy your videos. Encourage people to check it out.
Yeah.
So let's do like a round robin here, as we're maybe like a last minute round robin, anything that's coming up. How about you, Monty? Monse? Am I saying it right, Sid? Correct me. What am I saying?
Montserrat.
Monse.
Monse, yeah.
I'll get it one of these days. Forgive me.
um, it's so interesting what Bo was talking about. Um, once you awaken, there's no lying to yourself anymore. And the thing about no, not leaving any stone unturned and to look deeply into the human, I really encourage that work, because when you start to love all those parts, like she mentioned, the child and the teenager, and the like every single aspect of this one is amazing, like when you start to love it and love the body as it is, and start to love the personality as it is, and the mind and the conditioning and all those things, it's like in here, it feels like more aliveness comes through and more capacity to love myself, like completely, but like fully, because I am one with everyone and everything, and I can see in another human being this understanding of, oh, I get why you are doing what you're doing, you know, and I can feel this huge compassion towards them, and this like natural love, this, like the heart is full open, and I can hold the space for them to be themselves, for Monse to be herself as she is, and it's fun. Like suddenly that inner work has allowed me to be more loving and compassionate, and I really, 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 really encourage to do that work, because at the end, what I have found out is that every single aspect and every single expression is worth loving. Everything in the human experience is worth loving. It's lovable.
Beautiful. What do you think, Bo?
Me?
Yeah.
Just beautiful. I was just honestly, when I was listening to it, is it Montserrat or is it Montse?
The full name is Montserrat,
Montserrat.
but the short version is Monse.
Montse. When Montserrat was talking, I was just I think it's just her,
Yeah.
I don't know, this like sweet, almost like fairy, like angelic energy, you know?
Did you feel that too? Yeah. I
Yeah.
was curious to see what you would say.
She's also in the woods, so she feels like one of those tiny little fairies hiding, in the mushrooms or whatever. And I was like, wow, this is so amazing. I was like, I'm watching myself, when I look at Monster, like this is also me,
Yeah, it is.
but I'm experiencing like this amazing thing called a Zoom meeting with all these beings together. I don't even know where everyone is, but I'm in the States right now, and I reckon everyone, I know Judith is in Australia if you're still there.
Yeah.
So I'm just equally like amazed and just listening to everything Montserrat's saying. I don't know, she's just has this like beautiful feminine energy,
Yeah. Sweet.
It's very loving and like almost
I feel the
innocent.
love. Like when I think of her, I feel like that part of me that's the unconditional love. Like I see that in the mirror. I feel that. It's like that
Yeah.
love. Yeah. Unconditional love.
Thank you.
She's from Mexico City.
Oh, wow.
Mexico City. Yep.
May I ask where everyone else is at right now?
Brian's from New York, right, Brian?
New York, New York. So nice. They named it twice.
They got good bagels out there and pizza. Raymond's from. Good, Raymond. Where you from?
I'm originally from Glasgow. I live in Edinburgh in Scotland.
I figured that's where you'd be from with the thick
The
accent.
accent, a bit of a giveaway, isn't it?
It is.
Jensen, where you from?
I'm from South Korea. I'm living in Seoul.
Oh yeah,
So yeah,
I'm South Korean.
yeah. I think I saw you from the David Bingham's channel. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Great.
And Sid?
Sarasota, Florida.
Wow. Okay. I'm in Georgia, so we're kind of neighbors.
Oh, look at that.
And I used to live in northern Jersey, so I used to be very close to New York City. Very cool.
I'm Pennsylvania, as you know.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, yeah, just outside Philly. Go Birds. But yeah, so all right, so let's continue with our round robin. Let's go to Judith. Judith, you have anything you want to say? Last things? We could all mute.
No, it's just been a wonderful talk. Everyone has been just amazing and so clear. I find everyone is so clear. It's causeless joy and peace. Yes, that's the underlying being. That's the beingness. And also silence and stillness and just this peace. So there's no from what I used to be, now it's hard to even remember really what this person used to be before, years ago. All I remember was there was a lot of anxiety, and so the fight or flight mechanism took a while to go away, let's say, or just dissolve away. So that was a program that the program that I was running on, let's say, as before the awakening. So that's no longer there. It's just peace. It's just this deep peace. So even if anything difficult comes up, and they still do because we're human and we're in this world, so things do come up, and it's just seen as there's no angst or anxiety or anything about it anymore. It's just peace. It's the underlying peace, and everything is, yeah, it's okay. It'll just, whatever, it'll take care of itself, whatever it is. And I always come back to recognizing that I am simply energy, and I can focus energy into whatever it is I'm doing. So creativity becomes exciting almost, and curiosity. It's more curious as to because I was trained as a fine arts painter before, which was very structured, and you paint what you see and get it exact. And to me it was nice, but it wasn't me expressing. So it wasn't the free spirit that I am expressing itself. And that has actually opened up and become more clear in terms of, and more comfortable with myself in how I express now, which is not in by any standard, anyone's standard or anything. It is simply the being expressing in whatever way, and it could be in anything, in gardening or cooking or planting or or painting or anything like that. It's simply how I express in this life, and that's all. So to me, there's no heaviness about living life anymore. There's no heaviness. There's no have-tos. There's no shoulds or have-tos or anything, or trying to fit into somebody else's narrative. It's like there is no narrative. So it's like it's all there. And another thing that I wanted to actually say is that everything is so amazing now. When I look at a leaf and I see the sun pouring through it, it's, to me, that's amazing. We take all these things for granted, or we just bypass all of this stuff, which is just fantastic, and it's right here. So yeah, it's colors are vibrant, and they resonate. I think it was Jensen who said about the resonance of things. That's it, because it's not like the mind knowing something. Now it's a resonance. It's a full body resonance with whatever is being said, or what I'm viewing, or what I'm doing. It's like a resonance, and with other people I can resonate. So actually there are so many other faculties or gifts or whatever you want to call it open up, where what someone's going to say before they say it, and it's so much wider now, and there's so much more. So it's just amazing. It's amazing from from just being a cup to what's in the cup, and everything else is extraordinary. It's extraordinary, limitless. I hope that resonates.
Yes, thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. That was good. Okay, let's go. Oh, Brian, you have anything last minute bubbling?
Sure. I'm in this for happiness because I used to be really depressed, and the spiritual side of it was just stumbled upon it while looking for a way out of depression. And what I discovered was that happiness is our default state.
Yes.
It's actually deeper than that. It's actually what we really are, our happiness. But it's covered up, as Jensen said, it's blocked by thinking, blocked by what I call thinking, fixing. And you pull that curtain aside, and happiness reveals itself.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yay. Raymond.
Yeah, a couple of quick things. One is, this experience was a taste sensation. And I think it was Bo-Eun was talking about music. So I've done a little bit of music as well, Bo-Eun, and my children are musical as well. My son's like a classically trained piano player and things like this. So, but I'm thinking of the title of, and this speaks to me. So, In Excess, the Australian band.
Yeah, In Excess, of course. Yeah.
But that's what we're in. We're in excess, having a new sensation.
Having a new sensation. I love it.
Not an old sensation, because as
a new sensation.
Said, the old sensations might be relative to depression, or you know, and we can gently leave that aside and just have the newness all the time. That's why it's so fresh, because it's new.
Fresh and new. I like the way that sits. Beautiful. And of course, we'll Sid, anything you want to close out with?
I do.
Of course you do.
I am.
Any notes, Sid?
I'm so inspired. I was like Bo-Eun really opened a door here with this like being Bo-Eun. And it's because that's really what I'm interested in. It's like, what's it like to be Raymond, to be Jensen, to be Brian? And it's like, but there's something going deeper into the ownership of that. It's like what's it like to enjoying being Sid? It's like really deeply into that. And I'm just, and Judith took us deeper into that, you, Rob, and it's just like, I'm really interested in just the simplicity of it. It's like being Sid and the enjoyment of the simplicity of this aliveness, but with the being, it's being Sid. That's all I got. I'm inspired, and I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but I'm going someplace. Thank you.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? Everybody get anything else last minute before we close out?
Yeah, I'll just close out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Adding on to Brian's comments, like I also started my spiritual seeking as a way of depression. And yeah, happiness is our default mode, so we don't need to worry about anything. Just want to wrap up by saying love to each and every one of you. I truly enjoyed witnessing you talking. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Judith, did you have something you wanted to say? I'll mute.
Yeah, just one last thing, Rob. And it was about what Raymond actually said and what Bo-Eun was talking about. It is that I stopped looking outside myself for validation. And nothing matters. So I stopped looking outside myself. As a creative, it's quite, you wonder, am I doing the right thing? There's always that question. And for me, it was when I stopped looking outside myself for validation, or am I doing the right thing, or how do I express, or whatever, and I turned inward. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. That's freedom. That's sovereignty. That's freedom and that's sovereignty. I no longer need anything outside myself to tell me or to validate who I am, what I need to do in this world or anything, because I don't really need to do anything in this world. None of us need to do anything in this world. We just need to be ourselves. That's it. And I think that was the essence of this whole conversation today, was about that, pretty much. That's all. Thank you, everyone. It was absolutely lovely meeting you all. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming on to the Effortless Being panel call. You all were great. You're all special to me. Much love to all of you. You made my job effortless. This was so effortless and easy. It's beautiful. Thank you all for sharing. I'll put some links and stuff in the notes. If anyone that's listening to this, if you resonate, we'll make ourselves available if anyone has questions or wants to reach out and do something. So I'll put some of that stuff in there, as well as books and stuff like that. So thank you all for joining. I usually do these the last Friday of every month at different times, just so I could reach different parts of the world. So stay tuned. If it's something that resonates, take advantage of it. But thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming on. Have a great weekend. Oh, nice.